Let's go live to the former Deputy Prime Minister, Michael McCormack. Thanks for your time. We spoke to James Paterson earlier. He's supportive of the Prime Minister heading to NATO, if need be, next week at The Hague to try and, well, not just meet Donald Trump, but given how volatile the world is right now. What's your read on all of that as someone who's been in the leadership group and dealt with foreign policy matters very closely over the years? Can you really blame the Prime Minister because Trump pulled the pin early and left the G7?
No, look, I certainly don't blame the Prime Minister for that, and certainly I know he would have liked to have had a meeting with President Trump, but he needs to get his Chief of Staff to pick up the phone and to get on to number 34 Squadron of the Royal Australian Air Force and book that 737 Boeing business jet and fly to NATO next week and meet President Trump there. This is far too vital to leave any longer. President's been in since January 20. It's now June 18. That's a long, long time. And I appreciate the Prime Minister's had an election. I appreciate there's been other distractions, but can't leave it until September, as Senator Paterson has just pointed out. Needs to get a face-to-face with Donald Trump, and that needs to happen very, very soon. Next week would be good.
Why is it, do you think, important to get that one-on-one engagement happening? We know the alliance is a deep one. It's been decades. It's been built on a century, actually, of fighting alongside each other, and there's that strong people-to-people connection. But why the leadership meeting, and why is that rapport important?
Well, what you say is correct, Kieran. We've fought alongside Americans for more than 100 years. We are one of their closest allies, closest friends. And this is what friends do. They talk to one another. And certainly with the tariff impositions that are being proposed for Australian farmers, for Australian businesses, for Australian steel manufacturers, we need to make sure that President Trump knows this isn't what friends do. And you should be able to do that face to face, not over the telephone, not over text. You get a lot more from body language and eyeballing somebody than you do talking in the periphery. What we need to do is have a face-to-face meeting, Prime Minister to President, and that needs to happen very, very soon. On
to the Treasurer's address at the Press Club. You've spoken to me previously about this focus on productivity and really urging the Treasurer to embrace reform in the regions as well, to not lose sight of the contribution that the regions make. When the Treasurer says he's going to have the productivity roundtable in the cabinet room, who needs to be around that table representing the regions?
People from the regions. I mean, the NFF, the CWA, people from the regions who make things happen for Australia. And that is farmers, factories, that is dare I even say, mayors of local councils. He could do far worse than invite, say, the Temora Mayor Rick Furman and people such as that to have a discussion, to see how the regions are hurting and reeling from the policies that have been put in place by this Labor government. In the last budget, there was absolutely no funding put on the table for regional infrastructure. Now, this isn't good enough. The regions have been the ones carrying the can. The regions are the ones that I have to say, this government wants to push all those renewables out to, all of those solar factories, all of those wind turbines. They're all going into the regions. Well, give regions the courtesy of listening to them. Give regions the courtesy of funding them. Give regions the courtesy of having them at a round table. And I know that the Nationals have been championing the regions for more than 100 years. We'll go on doing that. But it's essential that Jim Chalmers listens, because so far he's given a tin ear to regional Australia, and it's simply not good enough.
When it comes to the coalition, though, and we've heard increasing calls from Matt Canavan, and he's been a long-time advocate for this, but just into Nambujiba Price after the CLP meeting recently that they want to scrap net zero. When you speak about a tin ear, is that showing a tin ear towards the urban seats that the Liberals quite simply have been wiped out in, or pretty much?
Well, I tell you what, the one thing that would absolutely organise those city seats against some of these mad rush to renewables would put a 300-metre wind tower in their backyards, see how they like it, and see how they then vote. This is just nonsense. And I have to say, it's not going to reduce the temperature. It's already -5 in Canberra this morning. I have to say the temperature was that cold, the Labor ministers and members were putting their hands in their own pockets. It's not going to have one iota difference to Australia's emissions, which are only over 1%. And what we're doing is we're taking up valuable arable farmland. Yes, we have to win those city seats back. I understand that. You can't govern without it. But it's got to be in balance. It can't be just a linear rush to net zero. The New South Wales Nationals in their state conference on the weekend at Coffs Harbour also voted to abandon net zero. And I'd put it to you, Kieran, that if you go out into Voterland and ask people what net zero means, there'd be a lot of different reasons and explanations as to what it even actually means. But what we can't do is take away all those productivity levers that are driving the economy. What we can't do is continue to demonise mining. What we can't do is still take away the water and the arable farmland that farmers need to grow the world's best food and fibre. And that's what Labor are doing.
Michael McCormack, great to see you. We'll catch you next week. Thanks.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Kieran.